Welcome to Insanely Positive. Your oasis of joy when the world seems grey and full of grumpy faces. I'm Suzanne Freiherz. Thank you for joining me. I'll feed you buckets of joy to bring out your best self so you can live your best life.
Hello everyone. I am currently very enthusiastic about our new Yuna training and the responses Tom and I get. Can you believe it? The first registrations came in directly after we announced the new training on Sunday. Woo! So if you haven't seen the announcement, please check out our website, yuna.com, and express interest. I have to add that this training will be in German, so if you speak German, make sure to find out more. And since there is so much enthusiasm in my life, thanks to the amazing humans that connect with Tom and me, I want to talk about enthusiasm today and how it spices up the relationships we have, no matter if it's romantic relationships or not. So Tom and I have been together for 21 years. Actually, it's almost 22, very, very soon. And it happened a couple of years ago that a colleague of mine said something to me that made me become aware of the value of enthusiasm in our relationship, but in relationships in general as well. So Tom and I have been working together for over 15 years, and we founded 2 companies together. And back then, usually we were in the office at the same time. But then we started to grow, luckily, and things had to change a little bit. And so he worked from home a lot. And I went to the office because I directly worked with the clients, while he was more involved in organization and marketing and, well, basically everything you need to be done to actually get clients and to be able to run and grow a business. So when I worked at the office, Tom always picked me up. Usually, he made sure to be there a little early to not have me wait on the street alone. But one day I left a little earlier than usual and decided to wait outside and get some fresh air. And as I was standing there, a colleague of mine passed by and she stopped and she said, "What are you doing here? Look at yourself, you're glowing." And I responded that I'm waiting for Tom. And then she stared at me for a moment and she said, "OMG, you look excited like a teenager who meets with her boyfriend. How cute is that?" And since then, I began to notice that a lot. I noticed that I'm always looking forward to seeing Tom. Even when we go to bed at night, I'm excited to wake up next to him and see him next morning. And I always run to the door to give him a hug and tell him that I'm happy that he's back. And I noticed that this is something we all do when the relationship is fresh, don't we? The relationship is new and everything is exciting, but then for some reason, things begin to fade away. And I noticed that in some families, they don't really react to each other. When one of them comes home from school or work, no one gets up to greet them, ask them how their day was, and just give them some attention. And sure, you can't always drop everything when your loved ones come home, but you can look up and you can give them a kiss or a hug and just let them know, "I am happy that you're home again." And I think it makes a huge difference. Imagine you come home and everyone freaks out that you are here. Instead of you coming home and no one cares to look up from their mobile or TV or whatever they're doing. It's a completely different world. Remember when you were a kid or when your kids were little? How do kids react when a parent comes home from work? They drop everything, run to the door or even down the stairs on the street, forget to put on their shoes because they don't want to wait another minute to give the dad, the mother, a hug. That is a great way to be greeted, isn't it? But then it stops. And I wonder, does it really have to stop? Wouldn't it be awesome if we tapped into our childlike enthusiasm more and express our joy like we used to? Imagine what it would feel like to come home to your loved one or loved ones and they run to the door, give you a hug and tell you, I am so happy that you're back. And like I said, Tom and I, we do this still after so many years. Actually, we've been together for more than half of our lives. And it really makes a difference. I think this kind of enthusiasm spices up every relationship. And it helps us to never forget how lucky we are to have each other. And of course, every couple, every family has to find their own way to express their love. I'm not suggesting to do what Tom and I do. This is our thing and you'll find your thing. I'm just trying to give you an idea. And I hope that you have a look in your own life and just remember where you used to be enthusiastic about each other when the relationship was still fresh. And as I said, it's not only about romantic relationships. The same goes for your kids. Because when they were small, remember, we used to freak out about every little detail they did. Because by being enthusiastic, we encouraged them to to learn and to keep learning and to not get frustrated when they make their first steps and they fall down a lot. And that's how they learn to eat and to walk and to dress themselves. And our enthusiasm is a strong driving force that they keep going and they keep learning and growing. And again, I'm not saying that you need to freak out when your 16-year-old boy is able to dress himself, okay? But I think you get the idea. I just invite you to bring back some of that attention and positive encouragement, and you will see that you will increase the joy for all of you. So that's one thing enthusiasm can do for us. It creates joy and it makes sure that we give each other attention and appreciate each other. What else can enthusiasm do for our relationships? Another thing is enthusiasm attracts others. Think about it. Who do you first call when you're happy and want to share good news or a big success? Do you call the person who will most certainly be indifferent or even drag you down and maybe even find something negative to say? Or do you call the person who will share your happiness and motivate you and congratulate you and show enthusiasm about your plans and your successes? I'm guessing you would call the second person, right? And now think about it. When you are an enthusiastic person, You will attract others and positivity easily. You will be the go-to human. You'll be the first to know, the first to be informed. You'll get all the good news first. And you will be the one others share their joy with. And the same goes for your career and your job. But we will talk about how enthusiasm can help you to be more successful next time. So please make sure to subscribe to my show to get notified when the next episode is available, okay? What else is a superpower of enthusiasm? Enthusiasm supports others. Tom and I were invited for dinner into the house of a very dear and close friend. And that evening, she just casually mentioned that she wanted to learn a specific instrument. And Tom and I, we were totally enthusiastic about the idea, and we expressed our happiness, and we asked her, do you already have a teacher? Do you know which instrument? Do you know where to get one? And, all that. And then she said something surprising. She thanked us for our enthusiasm and encouragement. And she told us that she had told other friends before us, and none of them reacted like we did. They all voiced their doubts, telling her, it's quite late to start this instrument, and it's a tricky one, and how will you even make time to do so, and so on and so forth. She was so enthusiastic about doing this, but when everyone told her it might be a bad idea, she began to doubt the idea herself. And then our reaction encouraged her to go for it. And I can tell you it was a brilliant decision, because now she is playing and she loves it, and it had become a highlight in her life. So next time you have a chat similar to this, just really think about your reaction. How can you support your friends? How can you encourage somebody else? How can you share their joy? And vice versa. If you have an idea that means something to you, choose wisely with whom you share it with. Make sure to go to someone who will be open and support you, to make sure that you don't give up before you even gave it a try. And also, enthusiasm enhances quality of life and joy by celebrating the little things. Let me give you an example. When I buy new clothes, I love to do a little show, like on the runway or something like that. And I always do that. It makes me happy. It enhances my appreciation that I have a pretty new piece of clothing. It makes it special to me, and it always entertains everyone else around me in the shop or at home. And here's a fun fact. When I do a little show, a little whatever, in the shop, when I try on a new piece that I really love, Tom always has a good laugh. And he watches the reactions of the people around us. And first there is a little, let's say suspicion. But then he watches them come back with the same piece and try it on. So for me, buying new stuff is special. I don't do it too often, and that's one way to keep it special. But also, I grew up having mostly secondhand clothes let me add, back then, going to a secondhand shop wasn't cool. It wasn't a hipster thing. Like, I'm so conscious about the planet and I let everyone know that I'm buying secondhand clothes. Back then it was not cool. And honestly, I didn't even tell anyone about it. And this is no sad story. I loved my stuff and I was grateful that I had stuff. And back then, the second-hand shops were super cheap. So it enabled me to have stuff because everything else would have been too expensive. And I remember I was so proud of my first pair of jeans that were long enough. I always needed an extra long, and that was hard to find. So when I found one in a second-hand shop, the length was perfect, but the width wasn't. I think it was like 3 numbers or 4 numbers too big around the waist. And I could only wear it with a belt and a big sweater over it, so no one saw that around the waist I had those folds. But hey, it was the 90s. No one noticed. It was a strange fashion time back then. So now that secondhand shops are hip and cool, I still don't go there, I have to say, because I promised myself as a kid that I will never have to wear other people's clothes ever again. So back then I didn't have a choice, right? But I still appreciated that I could go somewhere and buy clothes and have some stuff. So due to how I grew up, I am very enthusiastic about new clothes. And I want to hold on to my enthusiasm because it brings so much quality and joy into my life and makes every little thing super special. Another thing I do with clothes is I live in a different country than my family. And when I have a new piece of clothing, I flood them with pictures. So recently I got new ballet shoes and leg warmers, and I sent them about 20 pictures doing all kinds of different ballet poses to show them how awesome my new things are. And by sharing this, I increase my own joy and I entertain my family and they can be happy with me. So everyone benefits. And that's what enthusiasm does. It makes mundane things sparkle. It helps us to not take things for granted and get lost in blind consumerism. Enthusiasm reminds us that we should appreciate and celebrate and love what we have and buy only what really sparks joy instead of getting as much as possible, as cheap as possible. And then we have no idea what is in our wardrobe or in our home in general. And one last superpower I would like to mention is enthusiasm makes boring stuff exciting. Like doing chores. How does that fit into our topic, spicing up relationships? You might wonder. Well, I am talking about your relationship to your own time, to your time management. We all have chores or annoying things that we just have to do. They have to be done no matter if we are thrilled about it or not. Dishes, laundry, cleaning the bathroom, you name it. So this is not what comes to mind when we think about enthusiasm, right? It's not a very exciting activity. If I ask you to name an exciting activity, I don't think you would say, oh, doing the dishes, woohoo! But still, it needs to be done, right? And I think that your time is highly valuable. We all have just a certain amount of time in our life, right? And you have the choice to make even this time doing annoying stuff, doing your chores, valuable and fun. Or you make it feel like a waste of time that annoys you and dampens your mood. It's your choice. So I have a suggestion for you. next time you do the dishes, act as if it was super fun. Bring in all your enthusiasm. If you have a dishwasher, first of all, yay! Take out a clean plate, look at it for a moment, and be happy and say or think stuff like, oh, thank you, beautiful, beautiful plate. Thank you for holding my food while I eat. And now look at you, you're so clean and you're sparkly. Yay! And do this and give it a try and have a lot of fun. You can do it with your kids. You can do it as a family. You can do it on your own. You can say it out loud. You can think it, whatever works for you. But just try it and you will see that doing the dishes will be fun and it will make you laugh instead of being something super annoying. And this is your time. Just add quality, even to the chores, even to the boring stuff. You can find amazing inspiration from Alec Baldwin, who was a guest star in the TV show from the 90s called Friends. I'm sure you all know Friends. If you don't, change that. You need to know Friends. So Alec Baldwin played an immensely enthusiastic person called Parker, and he was thrilled about everything. It was hilarious. I love to watch him in this role. And I'd like to share some of that with you. And here's a shortened version of one of the things he said on the show. All the friends, all of them, and they were invited to some sort of event, some party together, and they arrived at the party location. So think about yourself. How do you just enter the party location? What's your reaction? What's your reaction like? And now listen to what this character Parker said. So he went into this party location and he stood there and he said, "What a beautiful place. What a great night. I have to tell you, being here with all of you in Event Room C, I feel so lucky. I think of all the good times that have happened here. My God, I don't want to forget this moment. It's like I want to take a mental picture of you all. Click." And he acted like he had a camera and he clicked. So, sure, this and my suggestion of how to do your dishes would be maybe a bit much for every day each time. But when we want to practice something that we don't usually do, it just really helps to overdo it and just have a lot of fun with it. And you will feel a bit silly doing this and that will make you laugh. But it just helps you to tap into this positive energy. It's kind of your way to get things going, okay? And another thing you can always do is you can do a happy dance when you're happy. I constantly do that, and I constantly amuse my family because I'm a passionate, enthusiastic, happy dancer, and I woohoo a lot. And although they sometimes kind of shake their heads and think I'm a bit mad, they always have a good laugh with me. Or you can do a happy dance when no one looks. Just do it for yourself. Do it to celebrate a happy moment and enhance your appreciation and positivity and your quality of life. Or if you're not a dancer, throw your arms up in the air. Even if you go to the next bathroom and lock yourself in so no one sees you, throw your arms up in the air. Allow yourself to express your joy instead of repressing it. Because maybe you feel like you're so serious and grown up. Or maybe you're so lost in routine that you don't even notice when something great is happening. So today, I really, really hope to inspire and encourage you to kick open the doors to joy and appreciation and find your own ways to express your happiness. Tap into this amazing superpower called enthusiasm. Find your way to be enthusiastic and to show others how much you appreciate them. And encourage others, and you'll see, even without making an effort, you'll attract others who are positive and enthusiastic as well. And please, everyone, please listen carefully. Never allow gray routine come between you and your loved ones. Never let it creep silently and gradually into your hugs. Just a little bit more every day. Choking the sparkle from your eyes and draining the passion and the willingness to make an effort for each other. Invite enthusiasm back into your heart and your words and your actions. And feel your heart skip a beat when you look at your loved ones and swipe them off their feet with your joy and hug them and cuddle them like there was no tomorrow. And instead of drowning in routine, just flood your life and your relationships with enthusiasm. And your enthusiasm, of course, is very, 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 very welcome on my website as well. See what I did there? Go to yuna.com, yuna.com, and enthusiastically subscribe to my newsletter and share your enthusiasm about my show by rating it, writing a review. If you don't like my show, then never mind. And then please enthusiastically tell others about my show. And you can also listen to me in German. Maybe you're enthusiastic about German, then woohoo, and we can do the same thing in German. That's it for today, everyone. I am so grateful that you are here and that I'm allowed to be a part of your life. I'm sending you a big smile and I'm waving enthusiastically, difficult word to say, enthusiastically through the microphone. Take care wherever you are, drive safely, bon appetit, have a lovely hike or run or ironing session, and sweet dreams, everyone. Wherever you are, whatever you do, let enthusiasm, there it is again, enthusiasm, pervade your words and your actions, and let positivity grow and pervade your whole life. And remember, create joy and bliss, shed the negative. The new normal is insanely positive. Woo!